Hello, sacred souls. It's Susanna from Alemannic Shaman. What I have here for us tonight is dissolving the shame and lack of self-worth that we have about ourselves. And this could be very deeply buried and on a subconscious level, but connected to the deservingness of receiving money and having enough money, having financial safety and stability, right? So I've actually been listening to Ken Honda's videos on YouTube for the last few days. And I think his channel is called the Zen Millionaire. I'll double check it and put it in the description box, but I'm 98% certain that's what his channel is called. But he has this really interesting money philosophy of happy money and how money comes to you more easily when, first of all, you have a good relationship with money, right? And you're happy in the way that you earn it and also spending it, right? So let's say if you're happy about paying let's say your internet bill because it connects you to the world and that allows you a lot of social times and freedom of exploring all sorts of different interests, let's say, or whatever exactly the details might be why you enjoy the internet, then that has a completely different dynamic from resenting the expense that you feel makes you financially bleed, let's say, right? So for many of us, there was either one or possibly there were several situations or also just repeated comments from parents or other relatives that might have either put us or kept us in lack consciousness, right? However, there's also other forms of shame connected to money. So Ken Honda mentioned in one of his videos that if someone is rich from an old money family, then they might feel shame in the sense of feeling that they were just handed the wealth and they didn't earn it. And that can also be a very negative emotion connected to money, right? So it doesn't have to be lack consciousness. There can be other aspects of shame surrounding money, right? Or also in quite a few families, money is used as a means to control other family members, right? So, yeah, what is supposed to be more a sign of affection and love can also be held over someone, right? So there are a whole bunch of unhealthy dynamics that can go along with that. I actually want to quickly share a story from my childhood where one Christmas, I must have been sometime between 10 and 12 years old, and my brother roughly between 18 and 20. He's 8.5 years older than me. And that Christmas, my brother got $2,000 for a computer because he needed that for his studies in university. And I got a book on proper etiquette, so a book on how to behave properly. So clearly that didn't land well with me, and I was quite upset, and my parents explained to me that, she has very sort of old-fashioned kind of thinking. She probably thought that to later on find a good match and marry up, which was still kind of part of the thinking of her generation, that it's important to have good manners, right? So good looks and good manners and being intelligent, like basically if you're the whole package, then you have the best chances. However, to this day, I'm still working on fully and completely seeing her side and forgiving her for it and forgiving myself for actually allowing that in for actually taking it personal, because in my personal opinion, she had a very sort of sick and twisted way of thinking. I mean, in many aspects, I considered her evil, right? So I'm just going to leave it at that. But so what came out of that was basically an underlying feeling of, first of all, not being good enough, right? So a lack of self-worth, because I felt that I was indirectly being told that I was not behaving properly, that I was misbehaving, which I actually wasn't. And that something was wrong with me that needed correcting, right? And also that I wasn't worth what my brother was worth. The book was maybe $20 and he got 2,000, right? So that's 100 times more in value, like monetary value. And also just that in combination with my brother being her favorite and her treating him as a king basically, and my mother and me like a maid, that entire dynamic. And my parents completely didn't treat me that way. Like I felt completely equal in my own like micro family. But unfortunately, the one and only relative that could do some damage was my grandmother. So I had other relatives that were really wonderful, but yeah, so I'm sure all of you have had some kind of stories that were somewhat similar, or where in other ways you were made felt that you didn't quite deserve to have financial stability or financial wealth, or you didn't deserve receiving money. So anything that has to do with the blockage of receiving money, right? So what I'm using here today is the female doll representing the receptive energies, right? The female energies, the receiving energies. And also with the heart on her chest, those hurt feelings and emotions that led to that shame, to that low self-esteem, of feeling that we don't deserve to be wealthy or have lots of money, to have an easy life, and that we don't have to like work super hard just to get by. And so I connected that to a dark rock, and I picked up a different dark rock, which I think is darker than the other one I had. And what actually also struck me is this rock has the texture of what reminds me of lava. Let me see if I can bring it closer here. See how porous it is? I don't think it is. Oh, the cord is a little short. I was trying to bind or like blend the yellow and the red, because for the root chakra, the red is like financial safety, right? And the yellow for the shame and low self-esteem. So that cord that keeps us tied to this heavy, heavy, dark trauma that doesn't allow the money to flow in the way that we actually deserve. Now, I also put a walnut here that we can crack for any and all blockages and barriers to that financial flow. And also to dissolve money blocks, I got these freebies, these testers of daily hydration powder. And I checked, actually one of these is supposed to be mixed in with 1/2 liter to 1 liter. So I put like 2 of these bottles here. Hopefully one is enough, and I may not be able to actually fit everything in here, but hopefully close enough. So that shall melt away and dissolve also those money blockages from that aspect and that angle. So here it's more like the shattering of the blocks and blockages, and here the dissolving. Put that here. Huh, that's interesting. Some dirt got right into the shell. So the water is somewhat contaminated. So water connected to our emotions, right? So there's some contamination. Oh, yeah. And I went to a public washroom today where the person before me, which was a gentleman, did a massive number 2 and did not flush. It was so absolutely disgusting, but I really had to go. So, and the other washroom was also occupied. So I actually closed the lid. Luckily, there was one on, and flushed it all down. And then I was able to actually use it myself. So that I felt was also significant, to having to flush out basically the shit of other people that we have to deal with now in our own lives because somehow they got in or they were dumped onto us and so on, right? Okay, I think that's all explanation wise. I do want to quickly announce that the shamanic fire ceremony, the local in-person live one in Toronto, in the greater Toronto area, is this Thursday, which is, well, it's Tuesday night, but it's actually already Wednesday because it's past midnight. So strictly speaking, tomorrow. And it's from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Toronto. This is only for attending in person. However, I have a virtual one coming up on July 26th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you should allow 3 hours. We might finish earlier, but I just don't want to rush it, right? So that's the last Sunday of the month. It would be wonderful to see some or hopefully even many of you there. And other than that, please remember that if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe to support the channel. And if you want to leave a comment down below, that would be really amazing too. I love reading those. And with that being said, let's jump right in. Let's smudge and then call in our divine team. Oh, and see how this just opened up as well. Oh, and also the ascension candle. If you take a look from since the last video, it was more round and it just opened up like a flower opens up, right? So that's also significant. All right. Please cleanse, clear, and renew all of our energies and take away anything dark, low vibrational, and unhealed, and transmute it into pure divine essence and return it to the universe for reintegration, and help us fully and completely reconnect to our own inner divinity as well as that all around us. And through that, help us be in oneness with all of creation. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. Thank you. Oh, yes. And of course, one more comment. If you take a look at the samples that I got, the name is No Days Wasted, which I thought was also very suitable, right? So dissolving those blockages that prevent us from fully living our lives, right? All right. Dear divine higher power of the universe, our higher selves, and our entire divine spirit team of the light, including our ancestors that are in the light, the 4 directions and the 4 elements, please join the ceremony and assist the healings, prayers, and protection with all of your powers. Thank you. Please close the circle of protection around us. Thank you. All right, and I want to give thanks for today for a kind of a lazy day at home because of the heat, and I actually didn't have the AC hooked up yet. In the meantime, I do now. But in the afternoon, it was so hot and I was so tired that I just took a long nap. And then in the evening, when it started cooling down a bit more, I was able to move furniture around because I needed to actually move some stuff to hook up the AC to the window. And I got that done and it feels really good. And it's been running for a few hours and it's just the perfect temperature. So I'm very, very happy about this. And It's sometimes the little things that can make a big difference. Even though I'm not usually a big fan of AC, but on insanely hot days, it is such a blessing. Okay, with that being said, I hope you all had a chance to think of things that you're grateful for. And with that being said, oh, and one thing stands out to me as well. There's a tiny little yellow X here on the, let me see if you can see it well enough, on the little plate where I have the charcoal. So like the fire element, and what popped into my head was the Jamaican flag. Now, I'm not fully sure right now how exactly that relates, other than maybe passion, but hopefully for some of you that actually makes sense. And sometimes for me, more guidance comes after I finish filming. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. We're just going to move on. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. All right, with that being said, let us start by cutting any and all toxic and karmic bonds, shackles, chains, leashes, and connections between us and any related feelings of shame and low self-esteem regarding money and regarding receiving money and receiving enough money that kept us in survival mode. And all of those cords shall now and forever be cut, severed, and removed throughout all of time and space, throughout all lifetimes, timelines, parallel and alternate realms, realities, multi and universes, and any and all other aspects that affect us in this lifetime and moving forward. And we shall be fully and completely disconnected from the heavy energies of trauma connected to that. And with the walnut, any and all of those blockages that we have had from not feeling worthy of receiving sufficient money, and also a blockage of asking for money when we deserve to receive money. So that could be in work situations, for example. All of those blockages shall now and forever be broken and removed from us, from our aura, from our energy field, from our emotional body, from body, mind, spirit, soul, and our energy field. It shall be removed karmically and in any and all other aspects that affect us in this lifetime and moving forward. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations. Piece of shell fell down here. There's another piece of walnut that's right under here. Let me just get it one moment, please. It was right in the far back there. And I'm gonna start eating these to help dissolve these money blocks in our system. That shall be digested and excreted. And of course, for anyone joining who is not used to my style, I often forget to announce it at the beginning. If you want to do the same, if you have a walnut or any other nut that has a hard shell, you can do the same. Just with a regular hammer will be fine, or a rock, as long as you can smash it, and then you can eat the nut on the inside. And with that being said, let us dissolve any and all remaining hesitations that we have, any fears and limitations that are connected to money, and the shame and lack of worthiness that we may subconsciously feel for receiving money. All right, let's see how sweet this is. It's well, most of the bottle, so it should be good. It's actually pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna add more just so it's less sweet. Ooh, right at the top. Oh no, it's a little too much. Okay, hold on. All right, I'll clean it up after because it did actually spill over a little bit. But here we go. I almost got everything in. All right, cheers. And again, similar to the walnut, if you have anything that can dissolve, it could be instant tea. Sometimes it's these granules, or instant coffee, or some kind of drink powder, right? Or cocoa, like hot chocolate, anything like that, that you can dissolve in water or milk, and then you can drink it. You could get this effect just to strengthen that also within your own system, right? You can do it after the ceremony if you don't have it, but you can also pause this video, go and get it, and then continue and actually drink it while I drink it. That would be ideal. And yeah, let's wash that down, and it shall also just come out of our system. Hold on, it's easier to drink without the spoon. I don't normally drink these kind of things. I prefer to just have actual juice. But since it was a sample that I got and it does the job perfectly for what needed to be done here, and it is a super hot day and it promises great hydration, I figured, what the heck. So that's also a great reminder of sometimes not being overly strict with our own rules when it comes to, let's say health routines that we have, that sometimes too much of a good thing is not a good thing, right? So just being kind with ourselves is actually also important. All right, let me see if I can finish that. Oh, the bottom is quite sweet. I do need a little more there. All right. Okay, and done. Woo. All right, let us take a deep breath in, breathing in that pure divine essence, that pure divine light. And let us exhale any resentment, hate, guilt, shame, embarrassment, and feeling not worthy of having an amazing life with riches, with an abundance of money, with financial stability, and the means to have the lives that we actually want to live. Okay, so sorry, that was a mouthful. So Let us breathe in one more time that pure divine light. And exhale shame and low self-worth. Oh, and shake out your body, your arms, your legs, your shoulders, roll your neck. Just try to get the energies moving around your system. And with that being said, let us give massive amounts of love, thanks, gratitude, and blessings to our divine team. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let the ceremony now be finished. Please open the circle of protection around us, but keep us strongly and massively safe, shielded, and protected at all times with a divine seal of protection. And so it is. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations, all our relations. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching and staying until the end and being a part of the ceremony, as well as being on your own healing and ascension journey. I so appreciate you being here. And just a quick reminder, if you could please like, share, and subscribe, that would be awesome. And also, if you want to support the channel further, there is a PayPal link down below. And also the information about the upcoming fire ceremonies are in the description box below. So you can find the information on the Alemannic Shaman Facebook page, as well as on meetup.com under the group name Shamanic Fire Ceremonies. And if I don't see you there, then we'll reconnect through the next videos. And in the meantime, I'm sending you tons of love, light, and blessings. Be well until next time, and I wish you great abundance. May truth and integrity always be with you. Bye for now.